This call is now being recorded.
Yeah, good evening and welcome to all of you, all the maths passionate educators for session 1, demystifying CBSE Class 12 Mathematics Code 041 curriculum. This is the first day of our 3-day celebration for celebrating the National Mathematics Day 2023. I welcome all of you. So my name is Amit Bajaj and I'm the founder and leader of Google Educator Group, GG Daily West. I'm working as a senior maths faculty in CRPA Public School Daily. I'm a Google for Education certified trainer and also a CBSE resource person. And of course, the AIEF Global Ambassador. When we talk about the CBSE Class 12 Mathematics curriculum, you all are teachers. So you have been teaching maybe for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or even more than that. Some may be naive, they have just started. But everyone is, of course, clear about the curriculum. But yes, in certain topics, certain chapters, there are certain misconceptions. So we will be focusing on that only. So when we talk about the curriculum, we are clear about this, that there are a total of 6 units. Relation functions consist of your chapter number 1 and 2, relation functions and inverse trigonometry. So 8 marks for that. And then we have algebra, 10 marks for matrices and determinants, calculus for 35, and calculus actually referring to our differential and integral calculus. So which means from NCERT, chapter number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm sure everyone is clear that there is no bifurcation by the CBSE end, that differentiation will come for 5 marks or matrices for 3 marks and determinants for 7 marks. It is all based on our experience, based on the kind of blueprint released by CBSE, based on the previous year question papers and the sample papers released by CBSE. We teachers actually create that bifurcation chapter wise. But be very clear about this, CBSE never do it. Next, we have vector in 3D, which consists of 14 marks in total, and LPP 5 marker and 5 mark, and then probability 8 marks. So which consists of our total of 80 marks. When I talk about say unit 1, which is relations and functions, so that's very clear now. Types of relations will be considering the reflexive, symmetric, transitive, and equivalence relations. So a lot of different ideas are there. In the last year, they're in one region. In fact, one question, A less than equal to B cube, right? Where AB belongs to real numbers. That question came for the 5 marker, right? And in some of the regions, we had a question like x upon 1 plus mod x. So there are a lot of varieties, and I'm sure everyone is aware, or if you are not, you must be aware of this fact that there are total of 6 different regions wherein different type of questions papers are coming. So maybe in one region, one paper has come. Next, possibly, fortunately or unfortunately, that paper, if that was tough, and your region may not have got this, some another region may have got that paper. So that's only the power of CBSE chairman, right? Without looking at what type of papers are there inside that sealed packet, they just send first paper for CBSE daily, the second set of bunch of papers to some Ajmer region, to Trivandrum, and so on and so forth. So it always depends on a luck. Right. So what type of a question is coming in your region may be quite easier, maybe quite challenging, maybe quite average kind of a problem. But there is a clear-cut bifurcation by CBSE, and we hope and expect that at least 50 to 60% of the papers should be like that, that every student must be able to attempt that paper and may be able to pass with a decent marks. And now when I was going through the registration forms, it was a surprise for me. Earlier, when I was used to take these sessions and was talking to the teachers, a lot of teachers, they were concerned. And what was their concern? How to score 90% and above. How my students can get 100 out of 100. And now most of the teachers, including me also, we have our consideration that we have, there is a learning gap after COVID. So students are not performing well. And there is a lot of pressure from the management, the principal, and we are actually worried and concerned about those students, because even after say pre-board 1, and in some of the schools, even if the pre-board 2 has started, the students haven't performed quite well. so they are even not able to pass. So how to help those students? It depends. There are few strategies. Definitely, I'm going to share that with you, but it all depends on a student. At the end of the day, definitely you may put in your hard work, and when of course it compared with the other subjects like physics, chemistry, then biology also. So that's sometimes really painful. I can understand that because we all are sailing in the same boat. Anyway, when we talk about inverse trigonometric functions, there is a confusion. I'll clear and talk about that also. So when there is simple range, domain, and principal value branch, and we had a question, direct type of question from this only 2 marker from this particular unit chapter, and then graphs of inverse trigonometric functions. For years, we haven't had the graphs. But now there is a trend when we are getting the graphs of inverse trigonometric functions in a specific defined domain. So they are not giving you minus pi by 2, say pi by 2, something like that. So it may be minus pi by 2 to 0, something like that. So half of the graph may be required. So give the ample practice of the graphs. Generally, we can expect a simple problems based on principal value branch and the graph. Second type of a problem which you can expect is simplification. Simplify the given trigonometric expression, inverse trigonometric expression, wherein say sine inverse of x plus root 1 minus x square by root 2, or simpler type of simple expressions wherein we used to do the substitution approach. So give the ample practice of such questions. Now the doubt comes, what about say tan inverse x plus tan inverse y? What about some another formula, say 2 tan inverse x, right? So cos inverse 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square types of formula, they may come their application. So based on the experience and the looking at the last year's paper, you won't expect such type of questions now. But tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, if I talk about this particular formula, I'm sure you must have taught that at least this simple formula to your students, and simple and direct application may be taught to them because there is the alternative method using class 11th mathematics, class 11th trigonometry, so that you can solve those questions. So you cannot challenge that later on if the paper setter have in the marking scheme has shown that approach of class 11. That's the only reason I am recommending only use of say tan inverse x plus tan inverse y, and when xy is less than 1, and tan inverse x minus tan inverse y, nothing more than that. So no need for going for other different formulas. Let me quickly check out the chat also, and in case if there's any specific question required, I'll take care of that. Yeah, the recording I'm going to share with you, all those who are joining. You'll be filling up your feedback form, and in that feedback form there will be your participation certificate link, and of course you'll be getting that via your email, and I'll be then sending the recording to all of you so that you can refer to that later on. So as of now, any doubt to anyone when I talk about inverse trigonometry? You can unmute yourself now. So I'll be giving you an option in between only for 2 minutes. If there is anyone having some open question, and let's keep it to right now to unit 1 only.
Good evening, sir. But in case of differentiation, we require that properties of inverse trigonometric functions.
See, you have you seen the questions based on that coming in the last year?
In case different
no
the problem.
Because I have actually gone through all the 6 different regions question papers, and
but sir, when you solve that type of question, like sine inverse or tan inverse, something substitution is there. In that case, we can substitute that value of cos 2 theta. If it is 1 plus x square, then we can use that formula.
That requires only class 11th mathematics understanding of trigonometry, right? So substitution, as already I have pointed out, in certain cases, I agree with you. If you are saying, say, for a differentiation or maybe so for integration, but based on,
because one chapter is there, derivative of inverse trigonometric function. Because when you explaining the differentiation in class 12, then first of all, you just go after that some function related to trigonometric function. In that case, we can use.
Sir, you are saying based on your previous experience, because you have been teaching for years, you were following the old NCRT, you are following the new NCRT, you have seen that transition. But if I compare with the past 6 regions paper which came last year, you will not see any question which required specific usage of formulas like 2 tan inverse x or tan inverse x plus tan inverse y in journal. You won't find such question. Though, of course, if you check out the private publication books or you are preparing your own pre-board paper, so you are giving such type of questions, but that you are not expecting in the board examination.
Okay, sure.
But simple practice definitely can be given, because the students are going to, at least at the end of the day, they are appearing for the various competitive examinations. Therein they will require such knowledge, so that is required actually. But for board point of view, the simpler type of questions based on domain
If you
range
solve that question, sir, implicit function is there now. When you go to solve that implicit function, some of the questions we can use. So it is better to explain the things for
yeah, there is no denial,
we
of course.
we cannot
Of course.
escape that thing.
Yeah. But if we
Okay,
focus
fine.
on the, say, a student who is a very average kind of a student and low achiever in simple word, for that, of course, we can avoid all those things.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So let us move on. Yeah, someone was speaking. Yeah, please.
Sir, there are problems where they give find the principal value branch for sine inverse of x minus 1, sine inverse of modulus of x minus 1. Problem in the sample papers, we get questions like this, sir. So are
Yeah.
we supposed to teach the children that how to bring that domain, how to remodify
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
And
Absolutely, absolutely.
okay,
Such
okay.
type of questions came last year in different regions. Sine
Hmm.
inverse of x square minus 1, something like
Hmm.
this. Not in a
Yeah.
modulus form, but generally such type of questions, and you will find such questions were already available in our NCRT exemplar textbook.
Yes, yes, sir, exactly. Because basic properties, apart from the basic properties, we may have to teach the children with this also, isn't it, sir?
Yeah, 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 absolutely true.
Yeah. And this will be restricted to sine inverse and cos inverse alone, because other functions, it's going to be from infinity. So,
Yes,
so only the questions in based on sine inverse and cos inverse is sufficient enough, isn't it, sir?
yeah, yeah. That, yes, absolutely true. Only sine inverse, cos inverse is sufficient in that case.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, let's move on. When I talk about the concept of matrices and determinants, so there is no confusion in general related to matrices and determinants, and they are relatively considered as the easier topics. But the only problem is when I say easier topic, right? So determinant, may we have the problems of finding x, y, z, right? In that case, Vidya is asking graph of inverse trigonometric function. Yes, of course, they will be asked. And last year we had a lot of questions based on the graph of inverse trigonometric functions only. So you need to talk about these. They were already in the syllabus for past 15 years, but they were never coming as in the examination. But now you expect such type of questions. The graphs are essentially required. Okay, coming back to the determinants, when I talk about, say, solve for x, y, z using a matrix method, there are a lot of varieties which are actually involved, right? So one may expect a simple solve for x, y, z problem, 2x plus 3y plus 7z is 10, something like this, wherein a student is finding cofactor, adjoint, A inverse, and so on. So give the ample practice of such type of questions, right? The only exceptional situation is we have the question wherein A transpose is also used, wherein the property of A transpose inverse is used. And we have the questions wherein 1 by x, 1 by y, 1 by z is there. You can always talk about such questions, and a below average student can even attempt those questions provided they have at least have a good calculative skills. The only problem is the variety of different type of problems. If they may come, even in a case study, you can expect the questions from here. Maybe a word problem is there. Amitji, only graph of inverse trigonometric functions. No other graph can be asked. But when we talk about the area under curve, In that case, graph or modulus function is required, other than our basic sine and cos graph. Okay, so the problem like AB product, you need to find and hence solve. So give the ample practice of such type of questions as well. So I am again giving a chance, opening the microphone so that from matrices determinant, if you wish to ask anything, and I prefer to use the chat box.
Sir, am I audible? Sir, I was asking the questions that from matrices and determinant, can the questions of the type like infinite solution, there are three cases, right? Unique solution,
No,
infinite
of
solution.
course they are not in our curriculum. No, not at all. They will not come. Infinite solutions not there. Only adjoint A into B verification for consistent or inconsistent, because that's given in our NCERT textbook. So that,
Yes, sir,
but that type of problem even never came in the board examination. But basic
yes, sir,
idea
that
about
I will
that.
ask.
Yeah, but
Because
that
sir, it
will
is
not.
written because it is written in the NCERT about this consistency and inconsistency, right?
But no question is there, so no problem you are expecting in that way. Right. So
Okay,
even
sir.
Cramer's rule or infinite number of solutions, such type of problems are not in our curriculum. Simple solving for XYZ type of problems when it's a unique solution.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No, Cramer rules is not in the syllabus. The basic idea is, and paper board setter will clearly mention in the paper that using the matrix method. So it is a named method. So you need to use the cofactor and adjoint. So properties of determinants ki jab tak hum, when we talk about that, you generally don't expect the question jahan property of determinants is required. A direct rule of expanding a determinant using 6 different approaches we know, 3 via row and 3 via column. So that type of a problem. You remember the question when determinant is given 1 plus sine theta, then cos theta, and what is the maximum value of this determinant? So that type of a question where you need to expand the determinant directly, make while the properties of determinants, they will not. So likewise, we had the question 111, ABC, A cube, B cube, C cube. So that will definitely not. No worry.
Excuse me, Amit sir.
Ji, sir.
Sir, what happens that when we ask the question on matrix method, student can use elementary transformations because ultimately he will get the inverse after that, and then he can find x, y, z. So will that also be possible? Will that student will get the credit for that?
Sir, according to me, clear answer is no. Because when we talk about the matrix method, so that's the elementary transformation using elementary transformation, that is separate method. So it's a name method. So for that only matrix method, cofactor adjoint is required.
Okay, but sir, their main purpose is to find inverse now. So inverse can be found from
Sir,
any method. No?
Sir, this is my personal opinion and my suggestions, because I am sure teachers will not give the marks for the same. They will not give for elementary transformation.
Right.
So let's
Thank you,
follow
sir.
what generally everyone is going to follow. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm keeping everyone on mute so that I can move on with our next subtopic. And there are a lot of things which I have actually covered. So time is really very less. So I may go beyond 15-20 minutes. Then when we have continuity and differentiability, you can check it out over here. So chain rule derivative of inverse trigonometric like sine inverse, cos inverse, tan inverse. When they are mentioning like sine inverse, cos inverse, and tan inverse, to my understanding, paper setter will not give the questions based on cot inverse x derivative or secant inverse derivative. Though the formulas are very simple, even I have taught to my students, I expect that you must have done the same. But in examination, you will be expecting the questions based on these three only. Then we have a simple ideas of exponential, logarithmic, and their derivatives, parametric form, and second order derivatives. So generally there is no confusion. Earlier, we had the questions based on a greatest integer function or modulus function, but they were not coming in a part of, say, differentiability. But last year only I have seen the question in one or two regions. greatest integer function, prove that this is not differentiable, say at x equal to 2. So such type of questions give the ample practice. So earlier we were not having such type of questions coming in the examination. Then when I talk about the AOD, of course, we have only 3 different ideas. See, Gishaji is asking about the composition of functions. Again, there is no clarity about this composition of the functions. I always suggest at least give the basic idea of getting the fog and GOF, so that one can find out the derivatives of such functions, like cos of mod x is there, sine of cube x is there. So such type of functions as a 1 marker problem in MCQ may be asked, because such type of questions you find the NCERT as well. So that's the only reason basic idea of composition may be given. When we talk about AOD, we have simple rate of change, increasing, decreasing, maxima, minima, and first and derivative and second order derivative also. Please note that earlier the choice was given to the student. Student may use any of the method, first derivative or second derivative. But if you are able to recall, there are the questions which came in the board examination in the form of case study. A part, using first derivatives test, solve the following. B part, using second derivative, justify this. So that means generally second order derivative test is easier, and we prefer and recommend using second order derivative test only. But now I personally suggest every one of you, tell your students to practice, give the ample practice to the first derivative test also. Because in few regions, we had the questions wherein first derivative test based specific solution was required. Left hand derivative and right hand derivative. See, when we talk about greatest integer function, for justifying that that's not differentiable at integral point, I need the idea of left hand and right hand derivative. So that is very much required. Can student use composition function properties for continuity? Yes, of course, because you are not expecting a question more than that for a 1 marker. So please feel free to use that. Okay, again, if you have any question related to this unit, we'll be coming back to this if time permits. Definitely a lot of things are there. So anyone would like to share their comments or their experience they want to share? You can unmute yourself. Yeah, nahi ho raha. Let me see. Oh, sorry. Yes, now you can unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Sir, what is the real life education, in which purpose the composition of functions will be used, sir? Fog and GOF in real life education.
See, that's not a part of our today's webinar because there are a lot of things which we have to cover. But definitely, if you talk about the real life applications, we can always have this separate session on that, right? So it'll be, and I'll remember that particular question in our groups wherever we are connected. I'll be sharing the answer for the same, right?
Yeah, because nowadays
Sir.
children are asking for what purpose we have to do this one.
That's not only nowadays. They are asking for hundreds of years, and we mathematics teachers.
No, sir. When we studied, we not asked any this type of question. For what purpose and what is the purpose for this? We have to read this one where it is used in real life. So that's why I need this answer, sir. That's why I'm seeking for.
If you ask this question, then we have say differentiation. We have maybe say composition of the functions, derivative or inverse trigonometric graph. So every topic, every chapter, right? So they have their relevance in our real life in one or the another way that cannot be explained to a grade 12 student as of now. But when they go for engineering, when they go for a specific field of study, definitely they are going to use those ideas. So we'll be talking about that later because our focus we will stick on to our concepts idea only.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, there are questions where prove that the given function is continuous but not differentiable. For such type
Yeah.
of questions, continuity we are going to check left hand limit and right hand limit. For differentiability, are we supposed to use the left hand derivative, right hand derivative concept, or directly I can differentiate and apply the limits and get the answer, sir? Is it
Again, if you are given with a piecewise function, in that case, suppose you are bound to use that left and right hand derivative. Again, it depends. If it's a 2 marker, 1 marker, I don't expect such type of questions. If it is a
okay,
2 or
okay.
3 marker, definitely a student need to solve that.
Okay, sir. If it's a 1 mark question, directly we can differentiate
Yeah,
and write the answer.
suppose that. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening. जी.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. जी.
Hello.
Hello, sir. बताइए.
Sir, I have a question.
जी.
Sir, most of the questions in IIT JEEs are asked from this differentiation and integration.
Yes.
Sir, there are long methods to solve these questions, but there is a time limit. Is there any method, which helps students to answer the questions in short duration of time?
So there are the shortcut methods which Byju's or maybe say Akash or various coaching institutes are teaching for IIT and JEE, right? So I mean, students will definitely follow that, but let us focus on the CBSE curriculum as of now. There are the shortcut methods for most of the topics which are in our NCERT textbook, and therein they don't require the solutions actually, right? So they don't need the long methods. So there are the shortcuts approaches which are possible, and those institutes are talking about that. But our focus and goal is our CBSE, wherein the complete approach, complete method is required to be shown, because there's a step-by-step marking in CBSE. So we need to follow that only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let's move on to the next topic, our integration. And integration, as already mentioned, there are a lot of topics, evaluation using your substitution method, partial fraction, by parts. Specific, you have problems based on the trigonometric integration, or even maybe you have the problem, special type of integrals like root tan x, right? So that's a special type of a question. 1 over sine power 4x plus cos की power 4x. So sometimes we can always expect such type of questions as well. But generally, if you go through the pattern which the paper setter is following for the past 2 years, right? When we had the NEP and the change of curriculum is there, based on substitution, most of the regions, first step was substitution approach, followed by some different approach, followed by some different method was required. So not expect the direct type of questions which are usually given in our NCERT textbook. Generally, for that, first step would be the substitution. I'll show you the sample questions very soon. And then we have the basic properties of definite integrals. And I'm sure you are teaching that. And one question using the definite property, it may be a 3-marker. So you can always expect that. When I talk about the AOI, a lot of confusion is actually there in this particular topic. Applications in finding the area under simple curve, especially lines, circle, parabolas, and ellipses. And it is mentioned here in standard form 2 only. But there are 2 things. If you have gone through the sample paper released by CBSE only, the question which was given wherein the parabola is not in its standard form, the shifting of origin concept is used in that particular question in our latest sample paper. So that's my personal recommendation. And even you have had the question in one of the region last year, say y equal to mod x minus 1 plus 2. So wherein the shifting of origin concept is used. A basic shifting concept is used. So please do teach that to your students. Despite this is mentioned in the curriculum, but it is very, very difficult to justify the students and fight with the CBSE later on. So simple type of problems can always be taught. Second thing is, what about the questions like when we have area under 2 different curves? So 2 circles, do not expect the questions. Say maybe a circle and a parabola, now we are not expecting that type of a question. And you may expect 3 marker or even 5 marker questions from area under curve. In some of the regions, that's very interesting fact. In some of the regions, area under curve came for the 3 marks, and for some region it was a 5 marker question. So that may depends, but yes, area of a triangle when the 3 vertices are given, we had such questions in 2 different regions. Though there is a basic idea, we are subtracting the areas. So generally it is said when we are subtracting the areas, that type of questions may not come in the examination, but otherwise it may come. Right. So area of a triangle type of problems, please give the ample practice. And when you have a simple line is there and parabola and a line, so please give most practice of such type of questions. Is there area of a triangle when corner point? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Can you please share an example, some based on shifting of origin? Okay, I'm not carrying my pen over here, but yes, let's say I have a question, say y equal to mod of x minus 1. Simple question was there, और इसमें limit was given for x, say x is equal to -2 से लेकर bounded दिया x is equal to 3. Right. So in this case, we know the vertex will shift to 1, 0. So the graph of this this function will be like this. So this will be shifting of origin idea. And when we have the limit for x equal to -2 से लेकर x is equal to 3. So actually this area was asked in 2 different regions. So simple type of a shifting of a region problems may be taught to the students. Maybe not. In fact, yes, you should talk about such questions. So Shailash, I think this is clear to you now. Okay. Any quick question from your side or any observation? You can turn on your mic. See, circle equations only in a standard form. You can expect a circle and a line, not 2 circles. Circle and a line. Bilkul, you can expect that. Yeah.
Sir, there are some sample papers in which we have seen the questions like the graph of log of x, the area bounded by the log x and the e raised to the power x. Although they are not given in the NCERT, but can the
In
questions
which sample paper, sir? In which sample paper have you seen that?
actually, sir, some of the sample papers that I'm discussing in the the market, those are available in the market.
Sir, the only idea is private publication, they may come up with any of the graphs, log x, e की power x, and these are the favorite questions for IIT JEE. In CBSE, such type of graphs are not in the syllabus, and in the sample paper also you will not find such questions.
Okay,
circle and line, yes, of course, circle and line, yes, that type of a question one can expect, but not based on e की power x and log x. Trigonometric function. See, again, we are not expecting generally the
Sir,
trigonometric
excuse me.
question in the area bounded by the curve, but I personally recommend at least say for sin x from 0 to pi by 2, or maybe sin x and cos x on the same graph. So from 0 to pi by 4 along y-axis. So such type of questions are already given in your NCERT textbook, though the probability is almost 0 for such type of trigonometric functions under area under curve, because it's clearly not mentioned in our curriculum. Yeah, Geeta ji.
Sir, the problems involving the integration along y-axis also should be taught, isn't it, sir?
Yes, of course. In fact, in one of the sample paper recently released by CBSE, there are 3 sample papers. I don't know how many of you are aware of this fact. For
Yes,
this session, CBSE released not only 1, not only 2. There are 3 sample papers, but only 2 are essentially required to be considered. The third one can be ignored. There's a reason third one is not prepared by the CBSE team. There are some outside agencies which practice question set is written. So that can be ignored. I'll show you.
Sir, if you could share the 2 sample papers once again in this group, it will be of great use, sir.
Yeah, I'll
Later
share
on.
all those links. Yeah, definitely. I'll
So
do that.
will we get
Okay.
questions involving circles which does not have origin as a center?
No.
No.
And what about
Only
parabola,
0, 0.
sir?
Yeah, that's confirmed. Sure, no problem.
So what about parabola, sir?
Parabola, again, see, as already mentioned, there was a question I'm just graphing it. Say this parabola. So this is shifting to 0, 1, right?
There is
So
a worked out example in the book.
yeah, so you will find, remember, such type of questions you will expect, and this is given in the sample paper also.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
only such
Exactly.
type of simple shifting may be expected.
Okay, sir.
But can we
And the
expect
area
any-
which lies below x-axis where the modulus should be applied. There are few examples given in the textbook.
Yes. When you need
we
to
should
take the
teach that
modulus
also?
sign, yeah, we can expect that. We can
Okay,
expect.
sir.
Even as a 5 marker, there was a question. I don't
Ah.
remember the region, but there was a question wherein a line was there and the graph was going below x-axis.
Below
So you need
x-axis,
to take
yes,
the
sir.
modulus of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, such type of questions also can be expected, isn't it, sir?
Yeah. See, likewise, y equal to x cube. One someone is asking.
Yes,
I
yes, sir.
generally don't expect, but that may come because that's a simple graph. We already
Simple
have taught
graph.
that in
It
class
is there in
11
the
only.
miscellaneous exercise in the
Yeah,
textbook. Yeah.
and also these type of questions are already taught in class 11. Graphing of such simple functions, x cube,
Yes.
so that can be expected.
Okay, sir. Thank
So I
you.
think it's a time to move on. A lot of ideas are there. I'm just microphone band kar raha hu. Yeah. Area of triangle is also there with reference to both axes. Yes, it is there. Area of a triangle, we had the question based on that. When 3 vertices are given, but in a simpler form wherein you can find the area along x-axis. Generally, that type of question came in one of the region. Next, when we talk about differential equation, there is no confusion in journal. Just the basic idea is when we talk about the differential equation not given in the standard form, right? Radicals are involved. So there will be no question in the board examination whether you need to square the differential equation or cubic both the sides, because there is the always good kind of an argument among the mathematicians. Even I'm a part of that marking scheme committee. There are a lot of the committee members who appreciate and who agree with this, that squaring or cubic the equation is okay. And some of them actually they give reference to the foreign author books that there is a parent equation. We cannot change that equation. So squaring is not allowed. So to avoid such controversial questions, I don't know how many of you have seen on 31st of March, CBSE released one sample paper. There was a question number 6 related to that differential equation only. And there was a situation when cubic both the sides was required. After just 6 days, that question was removed from the CBSE official website and a new question was added. So some of you may have noticed that, but generally a lot of us haven't noticed that. So do not expect a question wherein the square root or cube roots will be involved. Even if you have such questions, squaring and cubic, go ahead with that. The paper setter, the marking scheme, you'll getting the marks for the same. So no issues in that. Then we have the simple method of variable separable, homogeneous, and first order differential equation, linear differential equation, and both of the forms, dy by dx and also dx by dy. In a lot of the sample paper and last year 2 regions, if I'm not wrong, dx by dy, that was required in linear equation. So give the ample practice of such type of questions. Students may not be able to do the maybe say average student the tougher integration, but they can actually go for the variable separable or maybe identifying that it's a linear. They can at least find out integral factors, integrating factor as such. So any question from this? Any idea, anything you want to ask? And yes, there is no word problem from this differential equation, though word problem 2 or 3. Remember that bacteria type growth problem are there. So they will definitely not a part of our curriculum. They will not even be asked in a case study based questions. In homogeneous question, compulsory to prove homogeneous? No, not at all. Unless it is asked in the question. And the paper setter is smart, they will generally not give this. Otherwise, this will give a student a hint that it's a simple homogeneous type of a problem.
Namaste, sir. I
Ji,
have a
ma'am.
small doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, there was a talk some 2-3 months ago in one of the groups. For example, if you are asked to find the order and degree of a differential equation, say for example, d square y by dx square the whole cube plus dy by dx power 5 plus y is equal to sin x, something like this. Then usually when the order is whatever is the highest order, We don't multiply with the independent variable, say x. We don't give the equation as x into d square y by dx square the whole cube plus 5 times dy by dx the whole power 5 plus y equals sin x. There was a talk going on that x can be multiplied with that particular differential coefficient where whose order and degree are given as the highest. So I want a small clarification. Can we also take into account the differential equation of the form x into some differential coefficient, say for example, x square y by dx square the whole cube plus blah 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 something. Is that
Ma'am, may I request you to kindly connect me via WhatsApp, wherein you can write down the specific question?
Yeah, sure. I'll
Because
send
the
it to you.
idea here is, as far as the CBSE board paper is concerned, direct type of a question will be coming where order will be defined, degree may not be defined. And when the degree is not defined, I'm sure
For
everyone is
example,
aware
log
of
of
that.
dy by dx, provided exponential cannot be found, then degree is not defined.
Yeah.
Otherwise, okay, thank you. I'll just share it with you.
Sure.
Thank
And
you.
Seema ji saying, what about the word problem? See, word problems, even if it's related to the slope of a tangent, so dy by dx is equal to something. So that we are generally not expecting. But as a teacher, I have taught simple word problems which are given in even 9.3. So, but they will not come in the examination. Yes.
Sir, Amit sir.
Ji.
Sir, can we expect differential equations, totally straightforward differential equation in a case study questions? Like solve the differential equation, all find the area in case studies only? Because I found many papers and many sample papers, these things happen.
Sir, this may be by some private publication, first thing. Second thing, last year, there in one of the region, as you are able to recall, there was a case study based question. The definition of a homogeneous differential equation was provided,
given,
followed by the simple questions. Now solve the following differential equation.
Yes. Exactly that I am asking.
Yeah. So that type of a question can always be framed by the paper setter, but not that type of a problem wherein a lot of thinking process is required. Need to understand only in 3-hour duration. A very unique type of a competency-based question is not expected from the students.
Okay, right, sir. That's only I wanted to confirm. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, excuse me.
Can we have the questions later on? I am looking at the watch. A lot of things are to be discussed. So you can always write down your question in the chat box. Next is vectors in 3D. So as far as vectors is concerned, there is of course no confusion. We have the usual topics. Scalar triple product is already not there for years. 3-dimensional geometry, we have only now DCDR and the line only, followed by the shorter distance between the lines and the parallel lines as well, and angle between the two lines. But there are 2-3 different type of variety of questions which may be expected. First thing, identifications that the given two lines are parallel. So sometimes students do not observe that and they start applying the usual formula of shortest distance and they get the answer as 0. So that type of problems. And second thing, image of a point in a line. So expect that type of a question. Next question, find the point of intersection of these two lines or show that the given two lines are intersecting. Give such type of questions practice. Next type of questions, a line is passing through the point and perpendicular to the two given lines, as we have the simple question given in our miscellaneous. So that type of a questions can be there. And two lines are coplanar. See, coplanar term is not in our curriculum. So anything related to the plane is not expected. But yes, find a distance of a point 3, 2, 1 from YZ axis. So this require class 11 understanding only. So in one marker question, one may expect that. As far as projection is concerned, scalar projection. See, NCERT, yeah, this is a good question when I talk about the projection. In NCERT textbook, only the term projection of one vector A to another vector B is given as A dot B upon magnitude of B. But last year, if you remember, in one of the region, the question was there, find the vector projection. So vector projection term is not mentioned in our NCERT textbook, but that came in the examination. So please do talk about vector projection also. It's nothing new, simple scalar aa gaya, and multiply with that vector b karna hota hai. That is only required. Equation of shortest distance is not in the syllabus. That's a very complicated and tricky approach. So that is not in the syllabus. That won't be asked. Expect a direct type of a question. And yes, already mentioned, image and foot of perpendicular, most important variety of questions which can be asked. Can we use determinant method? See, when you say determinant method is basically a direct formula, you can always use that for finding out the shortest distance if the lines are given in the Cartesian form. And yes, another important thing is, normally it is observed that the students and even teachers are more confident and comfortable with using the Cartesian form. So if the question is even in the vector form, you can always convert that in a very first step in a Cartesian form, solve that problem, get the answer. But the question was in a vector form, provide the answer in the vector form only. So the student will be getting the full marks. So there is no problem or issue about this. Any rough idea about which chapter we can train slow learner for case study? See, again, there is no clarity or clear-cut answer to this question. Case study can come even from relations and functions. You must have seen that type of a question we had in our daily region. So relation function se bhi one can expect the case study question, or even as we were talking about the differential equation, or even from probability, or even from 3D. So no, yes. Questions from random variable, yes, it is very much in our curriculum, including the mean of this, which is not given in our NCERT textbook. I'm coming to that point. So vector 3D may say, only please consider vector in 3D. Any question to be asked? Any doubt? Vector in 3D? Quick one question only, if there is any. Though I'm going through the chat, so it is better.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, you told about the distance of the point from XY plane. That can become.
Yeah. It's in class 11th only. No? The idea lies in the class 11th. Though we cannot expect such questions, but you cannot challenge the paper setter because XY plane, the idea was given in class 11th only. So that's particularly not related to class 12th. That's 11th class idea only. So even if you remember in the community also, we have the questions wherein the limits, the method of finding out the limit x approaches to 2, some function is there. So such type of questions may even come.
Amitji, there is no question equation of line passing through 2 points in NCERT.
In NCERT, if I'm not wrong, passing through, there is no question. Can you please repeat your question?
There is no question in NCERT, the line passing through 2 points.
Line passing through 2, okay. But that is very much in our syllabus. That is very much. See,
that's what I'm asking. But there is no question in NCERT. They have deducted all questions.
See, the idea here is, even I'm sure paper setter are so much experienced, sometimes they may not even look at the new NCERT textbook. So only
so what we have to do? What we have to do?
You have to teach that because that's very much mentioned in our curriculum.
Yeah, I taught it. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
there is no
Cartesian equation and vector equation of a line simply means there are two possibilities about the line. Both are in our curriculum, so that need to be taught and that need to be considered. And we had a lot of questions in the last year in all regions. We had that type of questions.
Excuse me, sir. In a new NCERT, only the thing is deleted. Nothing will be modified.
Yeah, that's the only problem. Yeah,
only deleted that after COVID, the thing is there that they only reduce the things, but without seeing the significance of the other chapters also. Only cut and paste is there. Okay.
Yeah, so there is a lot of ideas or issues rahe hain, so we cannot talk about that right now. That's on the right platform to discuss about this. Yeah, but it is there. But please remember, CBSE is the examination body. Please follow the CBSE curriculum only. NCERT is suggested by CBSE. Frankly speaking, in my school, we have NCERT, but I do teach not from NCERT. I'm not following 100% NCERT. I have my own collections. I have my own presentations with me ready for each topic, each subtopic, and only questions are there. So I used to teach using those PPDs only. So
Same
it's all
we also doing. We are also doing it same way, Amitji.
yeah, I will try out for a target for clearing the paper के लिए questions देना. It's now a big challenge. There was a time 5 years back, 100 questions दे दिए student उनको
Yes,
he
yes.
will pass. But now
Mm,
remember Yuvraj ji, the time has changed. We are talking
yes,
about the competency based, competency focused education questions, and they are
exactly.
so HOTS are there. So we have assertion reasoning, so they are not easy. So in that case, it is very, very challenging. If you can suggest me a set of only say 100 questions, I'm sure no one can prepare that, because that will be a false thing. Practically, that is not possible. Okay, so let's move on. LPP, there is no confusion, but yes, in LPP, expect there is a 3-marker question of a graph only, which you can expect, and then one marker or 2-marker question, right? But in that case, unbounded region questions came in out of 3 different regions. So give the ample practice for unbounded region as well. When we talk about probability, we have conditional and independent event, then Bayes theorem, random variable, and its probability distribution. So this is very, very important over here. It is very clearly mentioned. A lot of teachers are arguing and discussing over various WhatsApp groups that because it is not given in NCERT, probability distribution and its mean. So it is not in the syllabus. But please, please note, this is very much in the syllabus. Random variable, its probability distribution, and its mean only. So which simply means variance and standard deviation cannot come. Dotted line be drawn. Yes, of course, in bounded with that case, yes. So share PPTs, you were talking about few of the ideas I can share, but not everything. You need to understand that. Formation of LPP is not clearly mentioned. Yes, of course. No, it will not come. Formation of LPP will not be there. CBSE का जो middle sample paper release करा गया था, which was not prepared by the CBSE experts. In that, they had one question wherein the word problem was given, and that is to be converted into that formation of LPP. But in CBSE examination, it is very much clear. It will not be even coming as a case study. Yeah, Somanji, I think I have answered your question. But again, I have devoted my one period of 35 minutes considering only 3 questions based on LPP word problems. At least students should have a flavor and idea, as someone was talking in the beginning. Student must have an idea that what is the real life application of this topic. This is a very beautiful topic having a lot of applications. So I considered only 3 questions and how to frame into that formation of LPP. So if time permits, you can always talk about that, but not as from the examination point of view. Of course, binomial distribution to gone long back, it will not come. Below average, yes, of course, transportation, kuch bhi nahi hai. It's not in our syllabus. Kuch bhi nahi hai aisa. So unit-wise weightage, again, already mentioned. I will skip on this. So this is the bifurcation which I have prepared. I will be sharing a lot of things, ideas with you. So you need not to worry about this. You wish, you can take the screenshots of this, but that will be shared with you. So this is one of the idea which I have prepared. Please remember, this is not final. So matrices and determinant, for example, if you look at the blue color, so this is 10 marker. So one can expect matrices for say 4 mark and determinant for 6 mark. So that 10 marks will remain the same, but based on the CBSE sample paper and last year paper. So this is just a rough idea, so that for a weaker students, at least those slow learners, they are clear what topic is essentially required and more practice can be given. And this is by one of my good friend, Mr. O.P. Gupta. He shared in a lot of groups about this. So you can again check it out. This is simply bifurcation of questions based on the CBSE sample paper. So it cannot be followed religiously. Please remember that. Please expect a change in this also, right? So case study, we had case study question from AOD, from vector algebra this year in the sample paper, and probability. So this is not fixed. It may be even from AOI, even it is from 3-dimensional geometry. But that's one of the possible blueprint. This is another one which I prepared last year. Now, there are the sample of, you will be getting all the details. Once you fill in the feedback form, I'll be sharing the presentation with you. And there are now the few sample important problems. Since time is again limited, so what I have done, all these questions, chapter wise, I have prepared relational functions. I will be sharing a separate presentation with you, including all these questions. So important type of questions from chapter number 1. So maybe say 10, 12 questions. So I think 13 questions are there from chapter number 1. Similarly from chapter number, and yes, we had the questions based on number of reflexive relations, symmetric relations, or even about formulas for how many bijective functions are possible. So I have included these formulas also. And inverse trigonometry, principal value से लेकर proving such type of simple questions. So I'll be sharing all these things. So please no worries about this. So someone was talking about such type of questions. Provide the PDF. मैंने बता दिया, it's my commitment. It will be provided, but you need to stay connected for next 20 minutes. Graph of such function in AR, of course, it will be attendance links after 10 minutes. So I will be sharing all those. So I will skip on this. So everything will be shared with you. एक काम करता हूं, ये मैं आपके साथ अभी ही इसको शेयर कर देता हूं, so that you trust me कि हो भी रहा है या नहीं, कह रहे और बाद में ना करें. So I'll do this sharing right now. So I prepared specifically a very important type of questions, and these are all the collections from the sample paper. And so check it out. I'm sharing this link with you for this presentation. So you will find all these questions over here. So I'm just sharing, putting up this in the chat box. Please save that link. Where is the... Okay, give me a second. Yes. So you can save on this link with you. In your feedback form also, in that email I will be providing, but it is always advisable if you can save that. Now let me come back to the presentation again. And since time is limited, I'll not focus much on it, but error analysis. We are the teachers. We all know what type of a mistake students are committing. So these are certain samples. And if this is my personal advice to you, I always show this to my students. And these are the real sample copies. 7-8 years back, I did click the questions, and I will be now, of course, we have pre-boards going on. So without the name of the student, of course, identity not to be disclosed. So you can simply have the collection of the common type of a mistake students are committing, prepare your presentation and showcase to the student, so that they will also realize that they may also commit such type of mistakes. Again, getting the double derivative, I think the idea is clear. Okay, what type of a mistake student have done, and this is the common mistake you must have observed. In parametric form, forgetting multiplying by dt by dx. So volume of a cone के formulas में there is a confusion. So mensuration formulas, if it is open at top, read the question carefully. It was open at top. The first step is wrong, the whole answer will be wrong. So it is always advisable if you talk about such things. So squaring kara, forget about 2ab, and that's a common mistake, maybe done by your students as well. Just skip on this. So of course, CBSE sample papers you must all have seen, and this is the special link. I'm sure everyone must have checked CBSE past year papers. So CBSE compartment paper for 12th and 10th. So go to class 12th, mathematics and so on. Similarly, you will see past 2022, all the regions question papers are available. So please use this link also. This is very, very important link. Past year question papers. And now it's coming to the time management, how to manage the time. This is very, very important. So this is my personal recommendation. Likewise, we have a 3-hour paper and plus 15-minute reading time. So students should be guided that they must utilize the reading time. So in reading time, what they can do, what formulas are required in that particular question, key highlights, underline using the pencil if it is allowed. And second thing, out of the option wale question, which questions our child is more comfortable, which formula is required, so that can be used. And please do not leave the meeting. I haven't shared your participation certificate link. Please do not message or ask me for that link again and again. It cannot be done, because if you leave now and you send messaging me, so I will not be able to do that. Please understand that. And then for a 1 marker question, I generally suggest if 1 minute is given per question, we have 20 questions. So 20 plus 10 minutes extra is given. So 30 minutes may section A completed. For a 2 marker question, no, nothing can be written on the paper during the reading time. Only highlight kar sakte hain. Maybe say I am okay with that question, but no formula is allowed to be written on the question paper. If there is a CBSE flying squad, they may take a strict action. Then for a 2 marker question, 2 minutes per question if given, 10 minutes, that's sufficient time. For a 3 marker, 6 questions will be there. If even 5 minutes are given and 5-minute buffer time, 35 minutes. For a long marker, long answer question, 4 questions are there. So 10 minutes are given, say 40 minutes. And then source or case-based question, 3 questions. I am giving 12 minutes to each question. That amounts to 36 minutes plus 9 minutes extra. Sometimes student may take more time and it goes to 45 minutes. Even after that, it's 2 hours 40 minutes, keeping 20 minutes extra for the reading time. And this is highly, highly recommended. So 20-minute extra reading time, I always recommend, though I personally know once the student know and they start answering, they may get only last 5-10 minutes for revision, but they must keep that time. For that, how they are going to practice, I'll be quickly talking about that. And since you are going as a paper checker and some of you are the head examiners also, so how the marking scheme is prepared and what are the various points which are kept in mind, quickly check that out. Of course, everyone aware, marks are distributed stepwise. In 1 marker question, no steps. So if this is MCQ question, only correct answer is required. And I personally recommend, if answer is say option B, so option B, or what is the answer, say 2. So bracket mein B likha, saath mein 2 likh diya. So that is required. No explanation is required. Alternate methods are always welcome and acceptable, but try to avoid the JE shortcuts. Some of the educators, teachers, even you may not give the marks for the same. If question is copied wrong, then 0 marks. This is a CBSE policy, but we all are human beings. Maybe we give few marks, but officially, if student is copying the question wrong, no marks will be given. If question is repeatedly attempted, then marks for the first attempt only is given. And if a question plays smart and attempt both the choices wale question, only the first attempt is marked, not marks given for the second attempt. Certain quick tips on how to attempt the question paper. 5 minutes I am sharing the feedback link. Alternate solutions are allowed, but try to avoid JE shortcut. And this is my personal recommendation. Always start the paper with part B, C, D, or even E, if possible. At least avoid section A, MCQ questions, because students, once they start with MCQ wale questions, they go on solving all the questions. They have started underline karna shuru kar denge. They go on wasting a lot of time. So avoid that. Utilize 15-minute reading time. Practice from past year CBSE papers. So compartment का paper और जो last year के regions के 6 regions के papers हैं, उतना ही काफी है. Likewise, and the CBSE 2 sample papers, not the third one in journal. Attempt at least 10 full length sample paper once syllabus is completed in the school. Of course, it is completed. सभी के स्कूल में प्री बोर्ड 1 हो चुके हैं, चल रहे हैं. Again, my humble request, please share your school's pre-board paper along with the marking scheme if possible. Hardly matter if it is handwritten, but please do share. I am believing in sharing and caring, expecting the same and not expecting much from you. So अपने स्कूल का pre-board paper please share करिए on all the groups. Yes. And attempting the at least 10 full length paper is very required. This is very important. Please note that student, even if their complete syllabus is not over, they are not comfortable with integration, three-dimensional geometry, hardly matter. Let them now directly start with solving the full complete 3-hour paper, and that too, if possible, morning में 10 o'clock से start करें. They need to adjust their body clock accordingly. Board paper 10 o'clock start होता है, 10:15 पे question paper मिला, reading time हुआ, 10:30 से 1:30 there is a writing time. So they need to adjust their body clock. Nowadays generation is like वो रात को पढ़ रहे हैं और दिन में नहीं पढ़ते generally. So they need to change and adapt accordingly. Read and understand the question carefully. ये बता दिया. Special care while attempting the case study based question और ज़्यादा time do not waste on that. It is not essential to attempt all the questions in the proper order. It hardly matter. But yes, if you are starting with section C, try to have all the questions solved section C in one go. Revise from NCERT and exemplar, and of course the specific assignments being prepared by you. Avoid silly mistake. Make a list of formula handy for your ready reference. This is again very important. In questions related to graph, geometry, use pencil and ruler only. Please guide your student. On your answer sheet, there will be 2 graph papers. Unko not to tear it off. Wherever you are solving that LPP question, but LPP graph is to be made on both. The graph are available for that only, for not for the area under curve. The reason why 2 graphs, if student by mistake commit the mistake in solving the LPP problem, totally wrong graph, they can simply cut that and redraw on the next graph paper. Since there is a stepwise marking, don't leave any question unattempted. Sometimes as a teacher, you must have observed, student is not able to even pass. They are hardly scoring say 20 marks. And we know 23, 24 minimum हमें देने हैं अगर हम चाहते हैं कि student का 1 year बच जाए. So that is what actually we are looking forward at, right? So we are all human beings. If a student haven't written anything on a blank sheet, you cannot give the marks. Student may write down the question, anything, any formula coming to their mind, they can at least write, right? So that you have the option and liberty to give at least half mark. So need to tell your students who are maybe not performing quite well that they need to fill in the answer sheet with the questions, writing again, or any formula which they have learned related or unrelated to that specific topic, but should not leave that answer sheet blank. No, not a general problem with the handwriting. Yes, of course, if I'm a paper checker, I must be able to understand the writing by the teacher or by the student. That is important. If I am not able to understand the writing of the student, how can I give the marks to that student? For 1 marker, if the method is wrong and answer is correct, no issue in that. Marks will be given only for the correct answer. But if it is a 2 marker, 3 marker, by chance it happens that answer may come out to be correct, but the method is wrong, no marks will be given. And there are certain links which I am again sharing with you. Give me a second. So which are now required by you. Give me 1 second only. I'm going to share that link. One is about lot of different resources. So you need to copy and paste this. So you just need to copy that and paste this on your browser. Another is my website. I have actually restructured and added few important things on this. You can always check that out. And now I am sharing the feedback form, participation cum feedback form link. Yes, method wrong, answer correct. No marks if it is a 2 marker. For 1 marker, marks will be given. So here is the participation cum feedback form link. And I am also sharing a drive link. Once you fill in the form, you will be getting your certificate on your email. Please check your spam box also. If not received by tomorrow, check out this particular drive link, which I have just shared. Let me share my whole screen. I'll explain that quickly to you in that case. I'll be answering to your questions. So please stay for next 5 more minutes. So please check it out. I have shared 2-3 different links. And over here, here is the participation cum feedback form. Once you fill it, you'll get your certificate maybe in next 5 minutes or maybe after one hour or so. If you do not receive that even by tomorrow, check out the particular drive link which I have shared. So you can always copy this complete message. I have shared that message. Savita ji ne पूछा है, if in MCQ if a child written correct answer but the option number is wrong, that's a very diplomatic thing done by the student. I cannot give the correct answer to this question, right? So one may give the marks, one may not give the marks, because sometimes student may try to be over smart. What they are doing, let's say the correct answer is 2, right? So student ने option C लिख दिया, but option C is not 2. So option C, and he will write 2. In that way, he is taking the liberty of giving the 2 different answers. So in that case, marks should not be given. King found that MCQ student write content wrong, but option is correct. See, method do not carry marks in the MCQ based questions. So if the answer is correct, you need to give the marks. So now I am, let me check out my presentation finally. Okay, give me 1 second. The thing which I always prefer, doing nothing at all versus small consistent efforts. Right. So if simple few steps are being taken, you will see a lot of improvements in your students. So we are the guide, you are a motivator. Even the students are struggling, they are not doing good. And please, no worries, they will do very well. Even if not in the board examination, at least in their life. So maths is important, but it's not the life. It's not only the thing in our life. Please note that. All right. So maybe management may not agree and appreciate. The principal may scold you and compare the results. AQI is compared. But please no worries about that. We as a math teacher are always giving our best. We are doing much more than what is expected. And the situation is same everywhere. I've been to different states. I am talking to hundreds and thousands of teachers. So if you think that the situation is worst with my students only, please, that's not the case. Even I am facing the same situation in my school. A lot of students are struggling. Please, hand holding is required. A support is required. Do not scold them. They need our support and guidance. Keep them motivated always. So thank you very much for joining in for this session. Feedback form I have already shared. So once again, getting 2 links, even in case you have missed that. Now let me quickly check out how many of you have actually filled it, and can you see on the screen? So your certificates are already issued to you. So here are your participation certificates. Your name is not coming. I will check out. There is some error. I will correct that. In participation certificate, there is some issue, but no worries. I'll correct that. So please save this particular drive link. Please save this particular drive link with you. So certificates will be updated and available on this drive link only. Everyone, please save this drive link once again. Yeah, name is missing. I don't know. Again, technology hai, kuch bhi ho sakta hai. They were actually generated using some software. So there is some that software app issue. I will look into that. Your certificates will be given to you. No worries. I'll look into this and make the corrections. So even if your certificate is blank, no worries. I need only your details, and that will be shared via that particular drive link. Thank you for joining in. So now I'm keeping your microphone open and floor is open for all of you. So I have received feedback. I can see, okay, almost 156 educators have already filled in the form. But there is some technical glitch. Certificate पे नाम नहीं है. I will look into that and that will be rectified. No worries about that.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, you would have discussed, I joined late in the beginning, regarding inverse trigonometric functions. Is it required to teach all the formulas?
Sir, certificate कैसे मिलेगा?
I have explained that 5-6 times. Or yeah, please, certificate without name आया है. I have shown you there is some issue in that. I will make the correction in that. So you will be getting on that particular drive link. आप सिर्फ ये फॉर्म फिल करिए जो आपको अभी चैट बॉक्स में शेयर किया गया है. Just fill in that, and later on, after 2 days, your certificate will be available at this drive link. ऋतु जी, मैं कुछ दिन पहले भी बता चुका हूँ, सर्टिफिकेट विदाउट नेम आया है. There is some technical glitch. So I will do that. Needful. कोई वरीज नहीं है, सर्टिफिकेट मिल जाएगा with your name only. No worries. अभी नहीं है, वो हो जाएगा. हाँ.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, oh sorry. Yeah, good evening.
Sir, I had a query regarding the inverse
Your
trigonometric
voice is
functions.
echoing.
Sir, it is from some other.
Can everyone be on mute so that Dhanya ji only speaks? Dr. 𝐂𝐁𝐒𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐭𝐢𝐟𝐲𝐬𝐿, in case if yeah, please mute yourself for a minute.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, ये certificate कैसे मिलेगा? आवाज नहीं.
Please check out. I have mentioned 5-6 times. It is already, the link is provided in the chat box.
Okay.
You just fill in that. Have
अच्छा,
you?
with feedback form also.
हाँ जी.
Okay, sir. Okay.
और सर्टिफिकेट पे नाम नहीं होगा. प्लीज सुशील जी, मैं 5-6 बार बता चुका हूँ.
Okay, sir.
सर्टिफिकेट में कोई टेक्निकल एरर आई है, फॉर्म भरना जरूरी है. सर्टिफिकेट इज रिलीज्ड विदाउट योर नेम. I will look into the technical issue and will correct it, and certificate will be later available at a particular drive link. Please save this particular
Thank you,
drive
sir.
link.
Thank you, sir.
ये drive link जो मैंने अभी chat box में
Good evening, sir.
please save that. Please.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Very wonderful session, sir. Actually, I need to today's recording. Is it available?
It will be available once you fill in your feedback form. I'll be sharing
Yes, it's
that.
filled, sir.
Yeah, you will
It's
be getting
filled.
that. No worries. You will be getting it.
So where I will get?
Ma'am, via your email only.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
thank you.
Namaste, Amit sir.
Yes, namaskar sir.
सर अगर थोड़ा सा इंटरनल असेसमेंट पे भी चर्चा होने पे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहता.
Sir, internal assessment is internal. So everyone is more concerned for the 18 marks right now. So that is the only reason I'm focusing on that. So of course, the internal study will have 20 marks, and you almost have done. This lot of echo is coming. Yeah, hello. Am I audible now? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So, see, as far as your certification is concerned, please do not ask the question again and again related to the same. Certificate will be issued if you have filled your feedback form. Just that blank certificate is issued, some technical glitch, but you will be getting that on your email ID only. So email ID should be correct. If the email ID is wrong, I do not help that. And please do not contact me for that certification. It will not be possible for me to address attend every one of you. You need to understand. I have a lot of other commitments at the same time.
Sir, sir,
बलजिंदर
excuse
जी
me,
मैं
sir.
कितनी बार बता चुका हूँ, certificate is obtained without name. Please understand. Okay, let us focus
Sir.
on maths only, please.
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir. One last question, sir.
Ji.
Sir, in this integrals, definite integrals, properties of definite integrals, derivation, are we supposed to teach them, sir? Because sometimes prove this property, hence solve type of questions were asked before.
Yes.
Recent times they are not asking, but are we supposed to teach those three properties?
See, if I'm not wrong, only 4 years back we had a question based on this. 0
Yes,
to
sir.
A property is to be proved,
Yeah,
f of
yeah,
A minus X.
exactly.
Right? No other property and this property, and hence solve the following question.
Yes,
So
sir.
there's no harm in proving such type of simple question and teach that particular property.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yeah.
And this special integrals, sir, dx divided by root of a square minus x square. For that also, is the derivation required, sir, or directly we
No,
can
no,
give
no.
the children?
No, direct formulas.
Okay, direct
Square or
formula
direct
is.
formulas. Yeah.
Okay,
No
sir.
proving is required in any such case.
Okay, these were the two doubts I was having.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
sir. Hari Om.
thank you. Yes, anyone? Yes.